Hello everyone. My name is Gail Herman, and I'm going to be sharing with you today in the integrated arts area a way to use what I call the Rondo Strategy, and it's basically an Orff Schulwerk technique. But instead of using just music, we've kind of adapted it to be used in the classroom for class discussions, sharing, and also even to teach through students making their own contributions to the chant or to the theme. I was a teacher for many years in 4 different states. I taught 1st and 2nd grade, and then K through 8, gifted and talented, and enrichment. And one of the things that I found is that when we had sharing discussions, when students had become a master of something that they loved studying about, let's say in science, and they came back to share something about it, that sometimes many of the students had trouble listening to each other. But when I adapted the rondo form and started using it, all of a sudden it focused everyone's attention. And when they got a little bit bored with what was being said by other students, they knew they were going to come back and be a little bit active with some snapping and patching and clapping. And so I'm going to share with you a number of different rondos that I adapted and used over and over again. I should mention that I also teach at the University of Connecticut at Confortute, and this is one of the favorite strategies that teachers have told me they take back and use over and over again. So the first one is learning one's name, each other's names. They know their own name. But I just teach them this little rondo. I don't need to have too much explanation because it becomes clear what it is that they're to do. And the rondo goes like this. Let's play copycat just for fun. Let's copy someone who's the one. Whatever they do, we'll do the same, 'cause that's how you play the copycat game. And then I model the variation on the theme. I just, with a rhythm, go, Gail, 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 Gail. And then I say, now you copy me, and they all copy me. It's like a name game. We've done these over and over, but this just has the added contribution of including this little chant in the middle of it. So let's do it again. Let's play copycat just for fun. Let's copy someone who's the one. And then, instead of going through whatever they do, we'll do the same, that's how you play the copycat game, I just go like this. Who's the one? Who's got a movement? Who could say their name with a movement? Some names have 3 parts. Some names have 2 syllables. Some names might have only 1 syllable, like mine. So all we need to do is to find a movement that can go with it. Now, usually we're standing up when I do this, but it could work just as well seated around in a circle, the beginning of school. It can work at the desks even. So let's just do it one more time, okay? And you can kind of slap the sides of your hips and clap, or you could snap. Let's play copycat just for fun. Let's copy someone who's the one. And then everybody, in between each one of the students that give a contribution, we need to do that clapping and snapping or patching the sides and just kind of getting into the groove. Now, eventually, when you do some of these other rondos that I'm going to demonstrate with you, students begin to get the idea. And I've had students come up to me and say, oh, Dr. Herman, I've got a rondo. I've got a rondo for, and then they'll name something that we're studying that they think would be good. Of course, I always do them. So the second rondo, which I should mention you've probably noticed, the A theme for the copycat was names. You know, let's play copycat just for fun. Let's copy someone who's the one. I did the B section. That was my variation on the theme of that little chant. Then we went back to the rondo and we did it again. And then I invited someone else to do it. So maybe Jennifer would stand up, you know, I recognize them, of course, if they've got their hands up. And Jennifer might stand up and just do a simple elbow thing like Jennifer, Jennifer. And then everyone else copies her just 2 or 3 or 4 times, depending on how much time you have in the day. Then after Jennifer finishes, we go back to the regular rondo. Let's play copycat just for fun. Let's copy someone who's the one. And then another person volunteers to do their movement. And believe me, the movements get more and more creative. So the next rondo that I want to demonstrate for you, I've used with kindergarten and older grades that need reinforcement from time to time about certain grammatical structures or parts of speech, I should say. And so this one goes like this. Nouns are names of things. Person, place, or thing. Nouns are names of things. Person, place, or thing. And then I stand up and model the first variation, which is the B theme. People like to sit in me. I'm usually in a living room or a dining room. What am I? And then students say, oh, I know, it's a chair. You know, you call on somebody or however you do that share taking. One day, I walked into a kindergarten classroom. I was an evaluator for early childhood for the State Department, and they needed to know that certain things were present within the classroom and certain things were happening. The day I walked in, the teacher was using a brand new required manual that taught how to teach the students in kindergarten what a noun was. Well, the students were every which way. They were twisting and, you know, kind of like, you know, doing that. And I just was very sad for this teacher. So I went over and I said, excuse me, would you like me to try something? I have something I think would help here. Oh, yes, yes, Gail, sit down. I knew the teacher, actually. And so I did the noun rondo with the students. I said, nouns are names of things, person, place, or thing. And they did it twice with me, and they loved it. And then I said, I am soft. People like to sit in me. What am I? Oh, you know, we know, I know. And they told me, one person, and I said, well, who else has a noun? And what kind of a noun was this? Was it a person, place, or thing? Oh, that's a thing. You know, they got it. So then we did that for, I'm amazed. I mean, the teacher had to tap me on the shoulder and say it's time for recess. But they were having a very good time just doing this clapping, slapping, and miming whatever noun, person, place, or thing they wanted to do. So I also did this same thing with some 3rd through 5th graders in Oklahoma, and they were studying Egypt. That was their favorite thing, and a lot of times there's a certain section where they're going to be introducing a topic. So I wanted to show you this because this is the person, place, or thing list that we did for Egypt nouns. The teacher wanted to pre-assess what it is that the students already knew about Egypt. So we did the noun rondo, and in that way we kind of got a sense of where they were, and they knew quite a bit about, or had a reading knowledge already of Egypt. So that was an interesting thing of getting the nouns, person, place, or thing. Then we did verbs. So what kind of actions, what kinds of things did people do? Again, this was pre-assessment. So we did a verb rondo strategy. We did verbs are alive, verbs are action words, verbs are alive, verbs are action words. Of course, there are verbs of being, and they're like not very active, but we were concentrating on things like, you know, what do they know about? Of course, they knew the word build. The Egyptians built things. And so they did, oh, and they also included the scientists, sneak. There were sneaking people. There were people who sneaked into the pyramids. So you get the idea that this can be a pre-assessment, it can be a post-assessment, just nouns and verbs. And you can make your own rondo from the definitions that your State Department or curriculum guide asks you to do. Okay, so now another time, it was another not preschool, but primary. It was kindergarten and first grade and second grade. And the teacher there wanted to know, actually it was first grade. The teacher there wanted to know if I could figure out a way to teach the students how to not use this ain't no. So I took a musical instrument called a Coco Rico from Japan. And this Coco Rico was so engaging because it's a wooden instrument with slats going down like this, and you just go like this, and it's like a rattle. So I showed them this, how it works, and then I put this Coco Rico, which is very flexible, put it around my neck. And I said, this is not a Coco Rico, this is my necklace. Then I put it down, and we did a rondo chant. We did Coco Rico, Coco Rico. What can it be? What can it be? And then I think we did it again. Coco Rico, Coco Rico, look and see. So then they got to pick up the Coco Rico, which they were dying to get their hands on, but they couldn't demonstrate what it could become, you know, whether they put it on the floor and walk on it like a balance beam because it can stretch out, or they use it around here like some kind of metal, or they wrap it around their wrist like a braid. They couldn't use it until they said, this is not a Coco Rico. This is my, and then they left it blank and they demonstrated it. So just the idea that before they could go to pick it up, you know, and use it, they had to say, that is not a Coco Rico. This is my bracelet. And so just by practicing that over and without any, you know, without any shaming or admonition for saying ain't. We all use it once in a while. It's a home language. But this teacher was required to teach standard grammar. And so in school, they learned this is not instead of this ain't no. So that was another interesting, unexpected thing that I had to create on the spur of the moment. Please share rondos that you've used. These are just simple. You might have a ton of them as well. We'll make a big collection and share them with everybody. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope to see you again at some time in the future, maybe at the University of Connecticut at Confertute. Thank you very much. Bye.